Hi, friends. Welcome to LCR and more. Today I have 5 porch decor DIYs to share with you that you can make under $5. So let's get started. I want to use this watering can that I picked up from the Dollar Tree. It is a beautiful color of blue or greenish blue, like a teal. And then I have these rub on transfers I picked up, or not picked up, but I ordered from Amazon. You get 16 sheets for $12.99, so well under $1. And I'm going to use that cute little gnome. You all knew it, right? So I'm just going to cut that a picture out of that gnome, and then I'm going to add that to the bottom front of my watering can. How is everybody doing today? I hope you're doing well. Wow, the weather is changing quick, isn't it? Can't make up its mind as usual. One day it's warm, one day it's cold, one day it's cold and windy. That's just the way spring is, right? At least where I live. Yeah, so I hope you're all doing well. I hope you are either warming up or cooling down, one of the two. I appreciate everybody for being here. I really do. And if you're new to my channel, I would invite you to, or I would like to invite you to join my YouTube family and hit that subscribe button. And I would love to have you. And if you like my videos, can you give me a big thumbs up? Really does help my channel to grow. So in this video today, I am going to be joining in the 5 under 5 DIY challenge, and the theme this month for April is porch or garden decor. So that is what I'm going to be making today, and I will talk a little bit more about this challenge in just a little bit. But for now, let's get on with this video, shall we? So here I am. I am attempting to transfer this rub-on onto my watering can, and I have got to tell you, I don't know if it was the texture of the watering can. I've used these transfers before, and they've never been a problem. So it has to be the texture. So anyway, I rubbed and rubbed and rubbed, and I really had to help this along. I had to, hold down with my fingernail the actual picture while pulling up the clear transfer tape. But I got it. I didn't lose any of the picture. So yeah, if you would like to recreate one of these, just be mindful of that. You might have to help that transfer along just a bit. Now, I did add another piece of that same sheet of transfers, and I didn't have a problem, but it was just a small little, picture. And you'll see that here in just a bit. But I did have some problems. But like I said, it worked out. So And then off camera, I went ahead and I painted one of those wood flowers that you can get in the Crafter Square section at the Dollar Tree. I painted it with white chalk paint, and then I'm going to add some wording to it and another piece of that transfer. So let's jump into that part. So I want to hang this cute little flower onto my watering can. So I need to punch a hole into that wood. But before that, I am going to add my vinyl because I want to make sure I get that hole in the right spot because the word spring is a little bit bigger than the word hello, and I want to make sure that it fits onto that flower. So I'm finding the right position here and there. I think I found it. And do you see what I mean? It took that whole flower almost. So I'm just positioning it to where I like it, and I'm just going to rub that and lay down that vinyl, and that is in the color green, if you couldn't tell already. So there we have it. And now I'm going to punch a hole using my hole punch. Now, oh, before I do that, I'm going to add this cute little butterfly from that same transfer sheet, and I'm going to add that right to the bottom of the word spring. Okay, now I got my hole punch from Amazon, but I really want to get a crocodile. I've seen lots of my favorite YouTubers use it, and I want one because it just looks so easy to do. So anyway, that's what I'm doing here. I'm using the smallest size on my hole punch, and I'm just going to make a hole, and then I'm going to hang that with some jute twine onto my watering can. I like to burn the hairs off of my jute. Do you guys? I mean, sometimes I forget, but as a rule, I usually burn it off and I love the smell. It just reminds me of my dad. He was a carpenter and it just gives me that wood smell that I smelled when I was little. But anyway, okay, moving on. Now I'm going to just, like I said, I want to string that on the top of my can. And I did use tiny spots of blue to keep that jute in place because of the shape of this watering can. It just didn't want to stay put. So I wrapped it around a few times and just to make it look cute, I um, I just, oh, I tied a knot here just like that to keep it in place. And I also used glue to glue down the flower itself just so it'll hang right and it won't flap around in the wind because where I live, it is super windy. As a matter of fact, today is Thursday and this video is due tomorrow. And we are expecting high winds for the next 2 days. And I'm going to be blowing outside with all of my projects tomorrow or this evening when I do my final reveal. But anyway, that is no worry of yours. So, but if you do see things flying around, that is why. Just saying. So anyway, so I am using some glue here and there on the jute and on the flower itself. And then I tied it in a cute little bow, cut off the ends, and that was it for this watering can. Now, to keep this under $5, I will be adding some florals and greenery to my watering can, but I'm not going to include all of my florals and greenery. I'm just going to show you the can because we can all just add whatever florals or greenery we have on hand, or if we would like to buy some extra. So this costed me about, let's just say under $3 to make because the watering can was $1.25. The transfers were $1. And then I used some jute and I used some vinyl lettering, and I also used that wood flower. So there's that. And then I will show you the arrangement and the final reveal. I want to let you know more about this challenge. It's an open challenge that is hosted by the beautiful Emily over at Farm Charm Chic. And every month she has a guest host. And today will be Lisa from Our Gray House. There will also be a playlist, and I will link their channels as well as the playlist in my description box. Please go visit them. Tell Laura said hi, and watch the playlist as well, and show everybody some love and support. Okay, for this DIY, I'm going to have to explain what I did so far. I lost some footage. So I took one of the garden fences from the Dollar Tree and I cut off the stake part, the part that you stick into the ground, those. And there was three of them, so I cut three of them off. And then instead of attaching them to each other, I just attached it to itself, making a circle, but it's more like a football. So I took care of that. But anyway, so I didn't like the part where you attach it together. And I felt like that was part of the reason it was looking like a football. So I just glued down with some E6000 two pieces or two of the stakes, butted up against each other, just like I showed you there. And that did help, but it didn't help all the way. So that's what it was looking like. And I'm going to be using this white trash can from the Dollar Tree as my pot, and I'm going to be putting some flowers in there. But so in essence, I'm making a decorated pot or a sleeve for a pot, and this trash can just fit in there perfectly. And I did want to also mention that I used those clamps, and I did leave that overnight and made sure it was nice and dry. The glue, I mean. I know that there is not a picture of how that sleeve was shaped, but trust me when I say it was shaped like a football. So, what I did is I took that black trash can or flower pot that you can see there, and I turned it upside down and I fit the sleeve over the the pot or the bottom of the pot because it's nice and round. And then I took my heat gun and I just warmed that plastic up, just went around and around. And then I just pushed down gently to make sure that it was, nice and tight. And that gave me my round sleeve. It was a little bit crooked, but it was way rounder than when I started. So that is how I fixed that problem. And I did do both sides. So I started with the bottom and then or the top, I can't remember which side. It's hard to tell in this picture, but I did do both sides. So once that cooled, I started with the top of the sleeve. I saw it now. And then once that cooled nice and cool, then I flipped it over and I did the bottom part as well. And now I want to add some feet to my flower pot. And I really, really wanted to use some bigger beads, but this is all I had. And do you see that black part? That's where I pushed it up against my husband's grinder. That just makes me a flat surface to glue to make sure nothing pops off. So I want four little feet for my pot. So I'm using E6000 and some hot glue to keep that in place. Some brown paper, wrapping paper, and I just stuffed it into my pot for now. I will add some rocks to hold, to make it heavier because we do get lots of wind at my house, especially in the next 2 days. But I do live in the high desert and we do get lots of wind. So I do need some weight in my pot. But because I want to keep this under $5, this is what I went ahead and used. And this is how you will see it in the final reveal. For my third DIY today, I will be making a plant stand. This could not be easier, you guys. This was so easy. I'm going to take two of those hanging shelves from the Dollar Tree, some zip ties, and some craft sticks. And do you guys remember these? Oh, yeah. I have had these in my stash. I never hung them up, never got the time really. So, what I did is I bent or, swung the, the wires around to make the feet instead of a hanger. And I'm just going to take those zip ties and I butted the two wires together and I'm just going to tie those just like so. And just pulled it real tight. And then I repeated that on the opposite side. And I got four zip ties because I kind of thought that I would need it, and I did. The shelves still wanted to kind of shift away from each other, because they're round wires, they're not flat. So, they just kind of wanted to wiggle a little bit. So I added some more zip ties to the upper part of the wire, and that helped. Um, it didn't prevent them from shifting, but the gluing the craft sticks down, it didn't shift at all. So I'm just gonna take some wire cutters. I tried to use my dull scissors, and yeah, that wasn't happening. So I just cut my zip ties off, and then I'll start. I'll add those two zip ties, and then I'll start adding some craft sticks. I have this wood banding that I got from Panda Hall, and I'm going to be using that to cover up the gap on the plant stand. I wanted to use one, but it was just a hair too small, so I'm going to use two. And that was how I was going to leave it. That was my vision. But once I applied the wood banding, and I did use wood glue for this, I felt like it was it didn't look on purpose. It looked like I was trying to hide something. So what I did is I took some more wood banding and I made 3 stripes in total. And I did use 2 pieces of the wood banding for each stripe. So that's how I made it. And I think it came out so simple and so cute. And yeah, it's gonna last a while in my on my porch, because it's wire legs and it won't get, if it gets wet, it won't harm it. So anyway, that is the project for today. I hope you enjoyed this one. Let me know what you think about this. Would you have left one stripe, or would you have did what I did and added some more stripes, or would you have added more stripes than I did? I would love to know. So, yeah, that's what I'm doing here, adding that first stripe. For my next project, I'll be making a plant hanger shaped in a wooden swing. It'll be a single wooden swing. So I am going to take my screwdriver and I'm going to attach an attachment. Now, these are steel hole saws, and I'm just going to pick out the size hole I want to make in this piece of wood. That is a hanging shelf from the Dollar Tree. They do come two in a pack, so this will cost me a whole 75 cents. So I'm going to attach my attachment here, and then I'll attach that to my cordless screwdriver, and I will make a hole in this. And if you're one of those people who are afraid to use power tools, don't be. I used to be too. And once I learned how to use them, boy, did my crafting world just opened up. So anyway, I'm going to play some music and show you how I made a hole in this hanging shelf. There, that wasn't so bad, right? So now that I have my hole in my shelf, now I'm going to take an emery board and smooth out the little splinters. I did get some splinters, but that'll be on the back side, or the underside, I should say. So I'm just going to smooth it out with my emery board. And then I have to make a decision. I have to decide which pot I want to use. Do I want to use this one, or do I want to use this one? I really wanted to use that terracotta pot, but this one won. So that's the pot that I'll use. I cut down some paint stirrers. You can get these in a pack of 10, I believe, at Home Depot. They used to be $1. I haven't bought any in quite some time, so I don't know what price they are, but they couldn't be no more than that. Maybe $1.50, I would say. Um, so anyway, I just cut some down just to the size that I thought it would look good. I'm trying to make a chair, a swinging chair. So um, I'm gonna line them together, and I'm gonna just use that shelf to butt the sticks up against to get a straight edge there. And then what I want to do is I want to take my pencil and trace out the design that I want. Um, I think I used the other shelf that came in this pack. I did, just to make sure they didn't move while I traced out. And I made a simple design so I can cut them easily. And so I I first started, to draw out, and then I drew out both sides, and they did not come out even as at all, at all, at all. So what I did is I just took the three on one side that I liked, and then I just used those as a template to cut the other three. So that's how I got my design for the back of my chair.
you as you drive. Do you know I'm looking? And I can't help but smile. Do you know how much I love you? You put my favorite song on, I put my feet up, and we just sing along. And I can't help but feeling, just loving this moment. Can we stay here forever? I'm loving this moment. Can we stay here
And here is my
together?
pieces all cut out.
If I could stop the
And so I
time,
want
don't you
the,
know
the
that I
marks on the
would? 'Cause
ruler
I
from these
just
paint sticks. I
wanna
want those to be on the
be
outside. So I taped all the pieces together, and I'm trying to figure out how high I want the little shelf to be. So I'm just going to mark that off, and then I'll just start gluing all my pieces together. I added some Jenga blocks to the bottom of the little shelf there just for some added stability. I didn't want if I put anything a little heavy in that pot, I didn't want it to break. So that's what I'm doing here. And then I was going to try to cut that Jenga block. Oh boy, I couldn't. So I just ended up gluing it upright, and then I glued one to the other side. But you know what I did? I glued the jingle blocks over the holes where the macrame rope is going to go, because it's going to be a hanging planter. So I did have to heat that up with my heat gun, and pry them off to uncover those holes. So yeah, just be don't do what I did. Just be mindful of those holes on your little shelf there. And now I needed some arms to go on this swing. So I'm going to take the ends that I cut off of the first portion. I'm going to try to use as many of those as I can. I did have to cut some more whole ones. I just cut them, I think they were 4 centimeters apart, and just kind of tapered them down towards the front. And I just glued those down, and I won't, you know, make you watch me glue all these down. Um, you know, uh, yeah, you don't need to see all that. I'll just jump to where I'm done gluing these on, and I just used hot glue for this. And here it is, all done. I know it looks like a toilet. What's funny is when I was making it, I thought, "Wow, this really does look like a toilet." And then when I showed my husband before I painted it, he was like, "What's that? A toilet?" So yeah, it looks like a toilet now, but hang in there, it'll get there. So now I just feel like this needs some more support in the back. So what I did is I took some more craft sticks, and I crisscrossed like a barn, sort of decoration in the back. So I glued one whole one across, and then I cut one down to size, and then fixed it to make that cross in the back. And then I used another craft stick for each side, just one. I didn't do a crisscross or anything, just one, and that gave it a lot of security, just to make sure nothing pops off. Now I do have to say, my home gets super hot. It can get up to 114 at times, so it will melt this hot glue. So I won't be keeping this outside. If I ever wanted to recreate this and keep it outside, I would definitely use some wood glue for this project. So also keep that in mind. If you live in a hot area, it'll just I'm sorry, it'll just melt your hot glue. So yeah, um, up to 114 at times. So it will melt this hot glue. So I won't be keeping this outside. if I ever wanted to recreate this and keep it outside, I would definitely use some wood glue for this project. So also keep that in mind. If you live in a hot area, it'll just I'm sorry, it'll just melt your hot glue. So yeah, um, if you live in a hot area, use some wood glue. And while I was talking there, I did cut a piece of craft stick to stick in one of the sides. There was just too much of a gap, so I just kind of filled it in there and made it look a little better. Okay, now it's time to paint. So I'm going to take some barn red paint and some territorial beige, and I'm going to water them. I'm going to mix those together, and I'm also going to water them down to make a stain, if you will. And what happened was I loved that color. I loved how it was looking, but it was not covering up the lines where the ruler part is of the paint stirrers. So I did end up having to use full strength. So I just went ahead and used full strength barn red and covered the whole entire project. And now I'm going to take some reindeer moss and this greenery that I found at the Dollar Tree. And I'm just going to, first I was just going to add that, but then my greenery wasn't looking right. So I just got some foam, just scraps of foam, and I just, stuck little pieces into my pot. And then I added the reindeer moss on top of that. Then I started adding my greenery, and I just love how this looks, you guys. This is one of my favorites of today. I think this came out so darn pretty. I really wish I would have used some hot glue because I think I would enjoy this on my porch all year round. Okay, so all that was left to do was to hang my planter. I love how this came out. Let me know what you think about this one. Oh, and I did want to mention as well those two-piece shelves, those hanging shelves from the Dollar Tree, they do come with two rings, two macrame strings, and two shelves. So that's very cost effective. So, anyway, yeah, let me know what you think about this one. And let's move on to my final DIY today. For this project, I'm going to take this cake pan from the Dollar Tree. I drilled a 5/8 of an inch hole right in the center, and then I painted the backside with some black Rust-Oleum paint. And then I am going to take a wooden dowel, a round one from Walmart. That's $1.29, and I painted that with black, the color ink. And for the back of that pan, I used Rust-Oleum black paint. There it is there. And I didn't paint the inside of that pan because I don't want to make any birds sick. I do have these two O-rings that I'll be using as well. There's the solar light that I'll be using. Isn't that beautiful? And the O-rings or the rubber rings are from my husband. He brought them home in his pocket. They were just left from work. Just trash. So anyway, that's what I'll be using today. This was so simple. I simply glued everything together. There's the rubber rings there. And I glued the rubber rings to the cake pan to make sure that the pan didn't fall all the way down. So I glued it just like that, right in that position. And I did use hot glue. Hot glue is not toxic to birds. So I didn't want to use, E6000 or anything like that. So I just glued everything together and I simply stuck that into a pot with some greenery and flowers. And I didn't count that because I'm only showing you the solar light. And here's my final reveal. Thank you, everybody, for watching today. Don't forget to go watch that amazing playlist. And I will talk to you all in my next video. Bye for now.